Greetings and welcome to the first ever episode of Midday Mindfulness. My name is Kain Stromberg, better known as the Cosmic Surfer. It is my honour, privilege and passion to share my life's journey with you, to assist you upon your travels, upon your adventure, as we together lead each other back home to the self. So it is my honour and absolute privilege to have started this show, Midday Mindfulness. And in this we will discuss all topics of the mind, as well as what mindfulness is and how to go about actually incorporating it into our day-to-day life. To be mindful is to be aware of what is taking place around you as well as within you. To be the watcher of your thoughts, not to attach to them, not to confine or define yourself by them, to say, I've had a negative thought, I've had a desirable thought, I've had a thought which lowers my intent or my view of myself in some way. So to dive right in to the depths, the way you view the world is dependent on your perception of it. Think about this for a moment. Actually stop and think about this. Take the time out of your day to stop what you're doing right now and listen. Really listen and really think about this. Your view of the world, what is happening around you in this very moment of now, as well as the past and the future, only exists within your mind. Think about it. You see something outside of yourself. Your human senses sense it. They perceive it in your unique way, and then it creates an image of the external world and the experiences and situations that you are part of yourself. Is this really happening anywhere other than your mind? What is reality other than your perception of it, your experience and attachment to it? Think about the past. The past does not exist other than in your mind. You have a memory of the past, certain situations, certain events, certain people that you were connected to, had experiences with, people who wronged you or did you harm in some way. Every time you think back to that negative event in the past, you're allowing it to actually drain your energy and your potential to create your dream life going forward. Where your attention goes, your energy flows, and what you focus upon grows. By focusing upon the negatives in the past, you are attaching to them, and you are creating more events going forward to match that which you experienced in the past. The first step towards anything is acceptance. Acceptance of what is, or acknowledgement first. First of all, you must acknowledge if there is something blocking your path, then you must accept it. And then by acceptance, you discover alternative routes or learnings, potential to grow, potential to evolve from those previous situations. Somebody who did you wrong in the past, a negative event that you were part of, or something you created yourself, is not negative. There is never any negatives. There is only ever learnings and growth. So, once upon a time in a land far away, there lived a man, and his life seemed to be going quite smoothly, quite joyfully, until one day he broke his leg. He was unable to then go out to farm his land, to provide food and sustenance for his family, to care for his children. He went through a very dark moment, a deep and dark night of the soul, deep rest, which is what depression is. It is a state of deep rest. After several weeks, feeling very, very sorry for himself and feeling that the whole world had come to an end, some soldiers knocked on his door to recruit for the march in the invasion in the neighbouring lands. Because this man had broken his leg, he was unable to join. He was unable to go and fight for his country. And in truth, he did not want to go and fight for his country. He wanted to stay at home with his family and be around his friends. What was perceived as a negative event very quickly was clear to see the positives in it, and how that had actually saved his life and allowed him to go forward in life, providing for his children and his family. We don't know what's happening at the moment. We don't know if it's good or bad until later on. So why not view everything as positive until you are reminded otherwise, until you can see an alternative? Look for the positives in everything and you will see the positives in it all. We'll get into this in more detail and more depth in later shows. But for today, let me go back a step and introduce myself. As I say, my name is Kain Stromberg, and I have been on a lifetime journey of inner discovery, of experiences, bright and colourful, as well as dark and gloomy. And I am a result of all of my experiences and the way that I attach and perceive them. I am a spiritual teacher, specializing in inner completion mastery, uniting aspects of yourself that are lost or splintered, hidden in the darkness due to past traumatic events. I am able to remove negative emotions, limiting beliefs, as well as phobias or addictions. It is really, truly an honor to be able to do the work that I do, as well as to be able to bring you this show. And to make it as expansive and educational as possible, I would like for your feedback, your input. I would like to know how you are to start with, where you are in life, and what your dreams are, and what you're doing to actually go about achieving them. We are only ever able to achieve or experience that which we believe possible. If you don't believe in magic, you will never see it happen. So, with that said, if any of you feel guided to do so, I have created some very, very powerful and expansive online courses. The most powerful one by far is truly life-changing beyond what words can even fathom. And the information housed within it is unique. Nobody else has created a course this in-depth and this powerful, and nobody for sure has made it this accessible and reachable and utilizable. So I'll leave a link somewhere in the description or in the comments for you to actually go over to the website, greatestversion.club. Join the club, and at the moment, to celebrate the launch of Midday Mindfulness, I am actually I have reduced the price by a further 55%, meaning that the investment is less than what you would spend in a night out, going out for a meal and a few drinks. And in this current situation, there has never been a better time to invest in the most important thing that you can ever invest in, which is you. Investing in the latest technology, the latest gadgets, the latest external material, it may cover up things, it may make you feel better for a short time. The hardwire that is you, that is your mind, that is used by you, for you, to create your vision and experience in what we call life. That is the most important thing that you can ever invest in. Think about it for a moment as being a computer. We are born blank. We have various programs installed upon us. These programs respond to external conditions. If I press F3 on this computer, it will respond in a pre-designated and programmed way. We are the same. We learn things through experiences, and we develop programs and behaviors. Once upon a time, my response to anger was to become angry myself. It kept me safe, so my subconscious mind learnt that it was beneficial, it was positive. And then the second time it used it, the third time it used it, it had the same result, and then that was it. It's a program. It's installed as my go-to response, my subconscious programming. When you do something that you don't understand why you have done it, in truth it's because you have not done it. It is that old program running in the background. You invest spending thousands of pounds on a phone every couple of years. Have you ever spent anything, not just monetary wise, but actually time, energy, effort, on investing in yourself? If you run an old program that you installed 20, 30, 40 years ago, it's going to have the same results every time that it is run. You wouldn't run a 30-year-old program on a computer expecting it to be able to keep up with modern demands. You wouldn't do it. You'd buy a new computer or you'd update it. It's time to update the software that you are running. It's time to become you 2.0. So head over to greatestversion.club. And if you want to actually have an understanding of the impact of the content that we create, there is what I would guide you towards first, an anxiety freedom course. It's free. There's some very quick, easy, powerful techniques to carry with you, tools to add to your tool belt, to journey forwards with, to continue to build the foundations in your dream life from. So, back to perception. The way that you view anything is dependent on lots of different things, lots of different situational circumstances and reasons. I'm sure you've heard the expression, rose-tinted lenses. I'm wearing blue-tinted lenses to reduce the glare from the computer, as I now spend a lot of time in front of screens. And I do my utmost to stay grounded in the present moment, this moment of now, as we said earlier, now being the only time that actually exists. And even the moment of now being an interpretation of your perception of it. The past does not exist other than in your mind. So it's up to you how you view the past, what elements of it that you take ownership and attachment of, which parts that you carry with you. And the future does not exist other than in your mind. Anxiety comes from a want to control a future situation. I want to limit the negative potentials involved within it. But very quickly, if you have one of two directions to take, if you are coming to a fork in the road, or the terminology which I was given in deep meditation, which I use with my clients, is that the vessel that you are, sailing upon the seas of life, the seas of existence, as we surf upon those waves together. If you steer your boat in a direction, you are going to then naturally travel and head towards that direction. If on your right there is some dark, jagged rocks, and on your left there is a beautiful open expanse of water, taking you to a beautiful island in the distance, the destination that you have set in mind. Being aware that there are rocks to your right hand side is beneficial to ensure that if the winds of life were to blow you in that general direction, that perhaps instead of actually steering or trying to battle against the winds, continuing to travel left, that it is more beneficial to actually utilize the winds, steer right and actually travel all the way round the rocks and back out the other side. Being aware of the negatives is important. Being aware of dangerous situations is important. But fear, my friends, is an illusion. It all depends on what you focus upon and what you are choosing. Fear isolates, alienates, and suffocates us from ourselves and one another. It is love. It's always love. It is love that is the answer. It is love that is the key. The key that unlocks that door deep within and sets not only you, but the whole world free. It's always love. And anytime you separate your ability to see love upon another person, in another person, to shine it from you, through you, you reduce your ability to experience it and have it flow through you. So, being aware of the dangers is important. Being aware of those rocks to your right is important, is beneficial. Being aware of dangers is beneficial. But again, in a situation that is dangerous, you react and respond to that danger instantly, naturally, automatically, fight or flight, or potentially freeze. Fear is your forward projection of a situation and your worry of that danger actually taking place. Fear is not real. Danger is real, but fear is not. It is actually part of an internal process that is linked into anxiety. And anxiety actually being the exact same biological imprint and feeling state of excitement. Anxiety and excitement are the same things, just having different external situations attached to them. Next time you become excited, stop and actually think about what's happening in your body and where it's taking place. Next time you become anxious, do the same thing. Stop, think about where it's happening in your body, where it's taking place. And you'll notice it's the same thing. So instead of becoming anxious and worried and then feeling negative about being anxious and negative about being worried, and I'm supposed to be being positive, I'm supposed to be doing this, oh poor me, stop and just accept what you are feeling, being mindful, and then link it into something positive. I'm anxious about that situation, but it's actually because I'm really excited about it and I'm looking forward to it going really well, because I know it's going to go well, because I'm going to create it so, because I'm going to focus my light of attention on that positive outcome, on that positive path, on that positive situation. If you focus on those rocks with a worry, with a desire not to head towards them, with a desire to actually steer clear from them, focusing on them, if you look to your right hand side, you're naturally going to start to travel in that direction. If you steer with your focus of attention to your right hand side, to those rocks, you will naturally steer your ship towards those rocks. The negative situations and events that have taken place in the past have happened. You can't change that, but you can actually learn to time travel by changing your emotional attachment to them. That again is something which is very, very in depth, and I will not go into any detail about today, but I may touch on in a later episode. It's the information and the techniques that I use with my clients. Timeline therapy, going back to an event of old, taking the positives from it, letting go of the negative attachments, and transcending any limiting beliefs around it. Letting go of that weight that you've been carrying around all that time. Where your attention goes, your energy flows, and what you focus upon grows. Grow the flowers in your life. Grow the flowers in your garden. The garden of the mind. Okay, let's return to mindfulness for a moment before we then touch on perception and perspective once again. As yesterday I actually went to the park. I live in Ipswich, for those of you who are listening within the UK. And actually I would love to know where this is reaching around the world, where it is you're listening from. And again, I really and truly care about who you are and your dreams and desires in life. I want to know about you, what you're doing, your dreams and how I can assist you in creating them and achieving them, experiencing them. The life of your dreams, that life of blissful, joyful abundance in all ways exists. That version of yourself capable of achieving everything to walk the path towards experiencing that life exists, and it all exists now. You have, once upon a time, felt confident, felt capable, felt excited, felt energized. All of those emotional states, all of those feeling states exist in you now, locked within your body, locked within your DNA, locked within your memory. And all we do is unlock them, create certain anchor points so that we can trigger it and revert back to any state of being that we desire. I used to be petrified to speak in public. Absolutely petrified. It came from a learning, an event, attached to feeling shameful, feeling that I was not good enough for my father. Singing expressively as a 9-10-year-old boy in a very high-pitched feminine voice, being scolded and shouted at, called all sorts of names, and learning in that moment not to express myself. That expressing myself freely, joyfully, artistically, creatively brought with it shame. So I cut it off, shut it down. Now I'm able to speak in front of people with a joyful and effortless flow. The language I use, I don't know where it comes from. And I used to talk like this, really quite mumbly, and I didn't really want anybody to actually hear what I was saying, so I spoke like this. Poor me. And in only a few years, I have changed my life and myself in ways that I did not believe possible prior. And that is what I am now driven. I'm driven by the empowerment of others. To inspire you, to empower yourself. That's it. Give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach him how to fish, he eats for life. Right? Simple. By me inspiring you, I empower you for a day. By teaching you how to inspire yourself, I empower you for life. You empower yourself for life. I am my own source of inspiration. There's nothing outside of me that I do not have the ability to either change or accept and change my attachment to. If you can't change something, change the way you view it. If there's something negative that you are continuously experiencing in life, not until you've overcome that will you transcend and move past it. So the computer game of life, let's actually touch on that next week. Excuse the background noise a moment. I'm actually going to make some notes. Game of life. Because the character you play can only ever experience something within a set parameter, within a certain boundary of potential. A character of lack and limitation will never walk a path of abundance. It's impossible. Getting into this in depth, again, is something we'll touch on next week. So, next week, week after next. This is actually a bi-weekly radio show. So every other week, twice a month. Potentially actually increasing it to once a week later, dependent on the amount of effort involved and how many people it reaches. So if you want to actually hear more from myself, not only can you go over to YouTube, to Cosmic Surfer, now and forever, surfing the waves of existence together. United we stand. And together we rise. One earth, one people, one love. And my vision for the future is to provide the key. That key to unlock that door deep within. and set not only you, but the whole world free. So key is unlocking the door to a world of infinite potential. And there's greatestversion.club. Becoming a part of that 1%. Not that 1% that sits over us and controls us through fear and divide and conquer tactics that we work tirelessly to actually line the pockets of. No, the 1% that is dedicated to themselves, their own inner awareness, inner expansion, inner journey. As again, the most powerful tool is meditation, which you will discover throughout these shows that I will continuously revert back to talking about. Meditation, it changed my life. And the information that I receive in meditation is what I use to then create all my videos with. To create the educational, inspirational and motivational content that is on Cosmic Surfer on YouTube, and all of my social handles are Cosmic Surfer. Cosmic with a K, KS, Kain Stromberg, Cosmic Surfer. Works well, right? And then we actually have a dedicated meditation channel, Mainstream Meditation. Tuning in to tune out and enjoying the adventure of life, one breath at a time. And I do realize that this is more of my way going forward, that I have a very, very hypnotic and therapeutic voice, and the next installment will actually be a guided sleep meditation to go through acceptance of the day and allow you to drift into a effortless and revitalizing sleep with ease. So, once again, getting off track. It's an acceptance of everything. And through meditation, I've discovered the tools to inspire and empower myself. And I'm on a mission to share this truth with the world, to create a world of true equality for all, one where we are all equal. And that equality comes through the empowerment of everybody else. So anybody that feels that they are highly sensitive to another person's emotions, if somebody is negative or low or in pain, that you actually feel it and take it on yourself, I would like to introduce the word empathetic, being an empath. And if you haven't heard of that before, it just means that you're highly in tune to energy. So very quickly, everything that exists is energy vibrating at different frequencies. And it does so in waveforms. It goes up and down. And that is the concept behind surfing those waves of existence. Now and forever. Surfing the waves of existence together. We are. That's what we're doing. So knowing that everything is energy, being able to actually understand and then utilize and attract and align to the energy that you wish to experience yourself, means that we are able to have a better situational experience in life. There's always going to be days of sunshine and bliss, and there's always going to be days of rain and storms. Just because another person's suffering doesn't mean that you need to suffer as well, even if you actually brought that suffering upon them. And that's a very, very controversial thing to say. If you've caused somebody suffering, then you should suffer yourself. On one hand, yes. On the other hand, what good does that do? If you've caused somebody suffering due to an old limiting belief or a negative program that's run, I'm 95% sure, because there is an element of people in existence who choose to actually inflict pain on others. But the majority of people do not. They want everybody to be happy, as they want and desire to be happy and experience that feeling of acceptance and joy themselves. So, if you lower yourself, if you create a chain, cuffs, a prison of guilt, and shame, then you're never going to be able to be any good to anybody else. You're not going to be able to do anything to uplift or liberate the person that you have created or experienced with that sense of suffering. Being aware of another person's pain is all very well and good, and it's actually beneficial because we can learn from their emotions, their experiences, as well as our own. Yet to lower yourself to that level lowers not only yourself but the other person, as they no longer have a level of insight, of inspiration to aim towards achieving. I exist self-aligned with my true self, grounded in my beliefs, some of which are in the current state, current situation, controversial. Freedom of choice, freedom of expression. To be able to smile and see somebody see my smile. Yeah, I focus on the positives. And I have moved past focusing on people and their external expression of fear. And I look into their eyes, connect to their souls, as the eyes are the windows to the souls. And I send them positivity, love, and acceptance of who they are. Just as we are able to accept the positives in the weather, those beautiful, blissful days, as well as the cold, dark, stormy days, which in the UK are more often than not. Full acceptance of all that is allows for things to be experienced that are otherwise impossible to experience. So never lower yourself, only ever increase your ability to shine your light. As the brighter you shine, the more of a beacon of hope and inspiration you're able to be for others lost in the fog and illusion. Yet to go into darkness is something actually that is the video that I have just created and uploaded today. It will not be shared until I think it's 22nd of August, perhaps. It's about depression and my journey through it, my discovery, and the fact that it's one of the most beneficial things I've ever experienced. Because not until I went into complete darkness and stopped did I actually look to another way of seeing or perceiving, another way of understanding. I stopped for the first time ever when I went into that dark state. And I looked about, and in the darkness I saw the light, where it was coming from, and then I ventured towards it, realizing that it is not something that is outside you. There is no completion found with another person or material object or success in anything. The completion of yourself comes from yourself by unlocking those parts lost in the darkness that you would otherwise try to deny and defy because you felt bad about what you did or experienced, the negative qualities attached. Again, there is no negative qualities to anything, only your perception of it. So returning to the way that you actually experience and perceive life. Very quickly, to actually enter into the foundation of existence once again. And this, I know, is very deep for a first episode, but it will set the tone going forward. But I will actually incorporate more and more mindfulness and utilizable techniques to be mindful of what is taking place around you. So I will lead on to mindfulness techniques in a moment to actually give you something to take hold of and to utilize, to use on a daily basis, to practice. And if you have not yet done so, which for the majority of you, you won't have, but those of you who have already, those of you that are listening because of the connection we already have, blessings, infinite blessings to you all. And those of you that are new to myself and the movement, the channel, and to Midday Mindfulness, I would like to offer my continued support. Please do reach out. Please do ask any questions, and it will give us a platform to build from, to grow the movement. And please ensure that you share this show with anybody that it may assist, because the more people it reaches, the more that we can then actually invest our time and energy into the continued production of it. It's not just me that is recording this. There is a whole team who actually go about daily working tirelessly behind the scenes towards the continued production and distribution of this quality content. So, existence. Existence. What is existence? To exist, to be aware that you are. To exist and to be aware of it. Is that true existence, or is existence just being? A rock exists. Does it know it exists? Is it conscious? Does something have to be conscious in order to exist? Or is it consciousness which is then able to perceive the fact that it is existence itself? Very deep. Everything that exists is, scientifically, made out of energy, atoms. Atoms that vibrate at different frequencies. Frequency being what we experience as sound. But these atoms vibrate in their own unique resonant vibration, and they do so in waveform, going up and down. Whatever vibration it is then determines the ability to be perceived as the quality that we perceive it as. Myself, this microphone, this computer, this wall, the air that I breathe, the thoughts that I have. It's all the same. It's all made of the same base material. That in itself is bizarre. But what is more bizarre is that the fact that this wall is only solid because of my ability to perceive it as such. I see it as a solid object. I can feel it due to my human senses. And then I'm able to experience it, to walk on it. This floor is just energy vibrating, but I am stood upon it. So just as Neo is able to actually see reality as it is when he sees that code, we too can do the same. To exist in that state is, within the modern world, impossible. But we can enter into it, to see the web of existence, not as a green screen of information, but as a beautiful golden web of information that connects all things across all time and space. There is no separation other than our illusion, or illusion of it. So everything in existence is energy vibrating at different frequencies, fact. It does so in waveforms, fact. And it is all dependent on the law of attraction and the law of free will to what we experience in life, fact. Everything that vibrates does so in a certain frequency of vibration, and you will only ever attract to you that on the same vibration as you. Okay, this is it's all very in depth, it's all very deep. I am a very, very deep person and I quite often get lost in thought. But by diving to the depths of the ocean, we discover those parts that we would otherwise never see, never experience, and the true treasures do lie at the depths. And I know by continuously diving down, or from having continuously dived down, that there is nothing to fear in the darkness other than the illusion of fear itself. Because I create everything I experience due to the way that I attach to it and the choice of the way that I perceive it. I woke up today, actually, for the first time in a very long time, feeling a little bit negative. A little bit, I've got so much to do and I just want to go and lie in the garden and do nothing. So I did this morning. I went and lied in the garden and did nothing. And I went to the gym. And then I spent quite a while trying to figure out all sorts of technological issues, because technology is not my greatest ally. But I'm now at a point where I actually use it and I'm appreciative of it, as opposed to having previously only seen it as a tool of separation. Here you go, kids, look at this screen. Don't think about anything. Don't imagine anything. Don't create anything in your mind. Everything you see is consciously created. First, consciousness thought it. And then it was materialized. It was created. Everything. Yourself. Again, whatever you're listening to this on. The chair you're sat in. The food that you will be eating. First, it was all of it. Somebody thought of it, basically, before it was then created. And who's to say a thought is not reality before it is created? So, to dream something then allows you the capability to experience it, to achieve it. Dream big in order to be able to achieve that with alignment with that dream. If you lower your belief in yourself to achieve anything, you will only ever achieve what you have lowered to. Don't lower your beliefs because of anybody else's input or past experiences. You are a being of infinite potential. Infinite potential. The greats throughout history were not great because they were born so. They were great because they believed it so and they made it so, as I am doing myself. Everyone around me will look back at the decisions I made in the future and understand why. Yet their perception or view of me and what I do does not matter. The only person's perception of me that matters is mine. My voice. The little voice that whispers to me. The voice of ridicule, judgment. That voice. That ego voice, which we will talk about again in a later show. The ego, what it is, how to actually go about living in alignment with it. There we go. Next two shows, concepts of ideas, game of life, and the ego. So returning to existence, everything being energy, vibrating at different frequencies, doing so in waveforms. Okay, right? Great. The simplest way for me to explain this, in incorporating the ancient expression or term, as above, so below, as within, so without. Basically, it's saying that what's above you is the same as what's below. What's outside you is the same as what's within. What's happening in your body is the exact same thing that's happening outside you. And any time that you see somebody that mirrors or triggers something in you that you don't like about yourself, it's due to a fact that there is something in yourself that you are trying to hide from or deny. If somebody angers you because they are rude, it's really because of one or two reasons. That you go out of your way not to be rude and you feel that they should be doing the same and they're not, so you want to control them but you haven't got control over them, so it frustrates you. Or that you are rude yourself and you're trying to pretend that you're not, and when they're rude it reminds you of that part of yourself that you don't like, that you're trying your best to hide, and then you blame them for reminding you of it. Okay? Mirroring is something which I would suggest that you look into and you be aware of. So perhaps today's mindfulness technique is to be aware when somebody frustrates you, when a situation annoys you or angers you. Actually physically stop, if you are mindful enough to do so, or whenever you realize that you have been frustrated, if it's after a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, however long. And over time, I'll share techniques to actually reduce that time and to be aware of things before they take place and be able to actually choose what path you travel down, as opposed to mindlessly and subconsciously taking that old path. So next time something frustrates or annoys, irritates you, once you've realized this, I want you to stop. Stop dead in your tracks and actually take a step back, as though you are widening your perception, your perspective. Having a bird's eye view means we can see a bigger picture. If you were to look at a square close up from head on, face on, it has 4 sides and 1 face. Changing your angle of perception, widening your ability to view that object, the angle that you perceive it at, means that you're then able to see the truth of it. There's not a square at all, it is a cube, as we exist in a 3-dimensional reality. And it has 6 faces of information. And the answer that you've been looking for all that time, really close up to that issue, if I just focus really intently on this issue, the answer will come up. It's on the back of the square. It's on the back of that cube. Not until you step away from the situation or issue, or speak about it with another person who has that alternative perspective of it, can you then see it from that alternative perspective. That's why sharing your information, sharing your story with another person is so powerful. And again, the other video I've uploaded today is about friendships. What is a true friendship? The vessel of that ship that you build, 2 people, friendship, relationship, partnership, all of them, they're building a ship together to sail on those seas of life. So everything being energy vibrating at different frequencies, the law of attraction being that whatever you vibrate out yourself, you attract, and that links into the law of free will, that everything you experience is your free will to do so. You have actually invited it in, you've asked for that experience. Maybe not consciously, maybe not even subconsciously, but on some level of consciousness, super consciousness, or linked into your higher self, your soul, the overwatcher, however you'd like to determine it. You have asked for the experiences because they are there for you to learn and to grow from. Linking back into that computer game of life, until you've overcome a certain obstacle, a certain level, a certain boss, you will not be able to develop and actually increase your characteristics to level up. Once you've then leveled up, you go on to the next level. The old level is done, and the next level is a little bit easier, or the challenge is new and it requires new skills to be learned. So whatever you vibrate at is in truth first depicted by your thoughts. A single thought, if you attach to it, attach ownership of it, then it will lead to an action. Either the action of taking that thought, or feeling judgment over having had that thought, or whatever form of action, it will lead to an action. If you are able to watch a thought come in, not attach to it, know that it is not you and does not define you, it is simply a thought, and allow it to flow out by changing your focus of attention from that thought onto something else, something outside of yourself, through the very simple and powerful techniques that are included in that anxiety freedom course on greatestversion.club. Something as simple as attaching 4 things you are grateful for on one hand to each finger, and 4 things that you are looking forward to in the future, or you're excited about, on the other hand, on the end of each finger, and then tap your thumb to each finger, one at a time. Do so 8 times, 8 lots of 8, and then the previous thought will be gone. The previous feeling of anxiety or judgment will be gone. Okay? So utilize that as well as being questionative, actually analysing and asking yourself why something triggered you and if it is rational. First of all, does it make sense that you were triggered by something outside yourself? Is it going to still be upsetting you in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, tomorrow, next week, next year? And if the answer is no, however far down the line you need to travel, when you get to a no, it won't be affecting me in 3 years' time, go, okay, that vision of myself in 3 years' time is no longer affected by this situation now. I'll bring back to now, and we'll just let go of that situational expression and ability to hold weight over you. Anything that you hold on to weighs you down, okay? By accepting everything that is now, allowing, I nearly got hit today, cycled to the gym, cycled back, somebody didn't look, they pulled out in front of me. The old part of me went to actually jump off my bike and throw it at the car, because that is part of me. And I saw that reaction and I just let go. I didn't even have any anger towards him after that. I once existed in a state of anger beyond what you could imagine. I was angry at the world, angry at myself. I became 18 stone of muscle fueled by anger, all linked into various situations in the past, all of which I will share with you over time, because it's okay to be weak. As a man, it's okay to be wrong. It's fine to be a man who's not always strong. It's actually required. As if a tree stands too rigid, then the winds of life will snap it. We need to learn to bend to the will of the wind. And just as those thoughts that float in, we have no control over the clouds outside. Beautiful wispy clouds that look like dogs or butterflies. And then the darker ones which bring with them storms. You can't control those clouds. They're not your clouds. Simply watch the thoughts and allow them to float by, knowing that without those rainy days, we would never experience life's rainbows. So, a thought becomes an action taken over time becomes a habit. Okay? Thoughts lead to actions taken over and over time get integrated, infused into your belief, your subconscious. They become behaviors and habits. And your habits, collectively, the habits and behaviors, the programs which you are running, create your character. They are the programming of the character you are experiencing in this game we call life. And that character will only ever be able to walk that path within those set parameters and boundaries. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. What you focus upon grows. Focus on the good qualities in yourself and other people. Plant the seeds of positivity in the garden of your mind and shine your light of attention as though you were the sun upon those positive qualities. Yes, there will always be weeds. The winds of life will always blow weeds into your garden. And if you focus upon those weeds, whether want to escape them or deny them or defy them, then you are actually shining your light of attention upon them and growing them. Okay? Focus upon the flowers. Accept the weeds are there, but focus on the flowers. Grow the flowers so big and beautiful you cannot even see the weeds. And I'll incorporate that into a later episode as well, incorporating all of the negative qualities or perceived negatives and turning them into positives. So imagine that you are a screen, linking back to that computer, born blank, having programs installed upon you, okay? You have a screen of projection. You project yourself in a certain way. The external world then sees you in that way. And in truth, there is actually only ever one screen. You view, right, picture this, okay? If you're still listening, then you are in a place where you are relaxed enough, or I hope so, to continue listening. We're getting near the hour now. So this will be a visualization technique to bring completion to the actual episode. So close your eyes. take a couple of deep cleansing and mindful breaths in. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathe in for the count of 4 through your nose this time. Breathing in and picturing within your mind's eye all of that clean, fresh, cleansing air, that life force energy, that pranic life force entering into your lungs and filling your entire body. And breathe out. Breathe out through your mouth for the count of 4. Breathing out everything and anything which no longer serves you. All the tensions, all the worries, all the stresses, just breathe them out. That, my friends, is meditation. A single breath in and out, done mindfully, with purpose, is meditation. Okay? And I am also a meditation teacher on top of the other work that I do. And as I say, Midday Mindfulness is my new and very, very proud to be able to share show. I am honoured to be able to do this, I really am. And Mainstream Meditation is the meditation YouTube channel. So I would highly suggest that you go over there now and subscribe to the channel and watch some of the videos there. Energy reclaims, guided meditations, all chakras, abandonment, inner child integration, sleep meditations, acceptance meditations, and a beautiful, beautiful one where is my expression and truth shared with you. So back to that screen, the image on that screen. A TV has around it all of the channels that it is able to pick up and broadcast. They're always in the airwaves around it. Okay? Depending on what channel that you tune that television into, depends on the signal that it receives, due to actually aligning with that signal, and then the image it projects. If you vibrate in a want for something, you will attract to you, from around you, things to show you a want for it. To say, I want more money, is basically vibrating at a lack of money, because you wouldn't want something that you already had. So the way to use the law of attraction is to vibrate in alignment with already having had it, already experiencing it. If you want something more in life, focus on the things that you have in life. And that feeling, that vibration of gratitude and of abundance in whatever field, whatever aspect of life, say your love life is very good, but your work life is not. Take the qualities and feeling of your love life and integrate them into your other experiences in life. That way, you will remain aligned with positivity in all you do. The channel that you show, that you broadcast to the world, is then the image that the world has of you. And in truth, it is the same image that the world has of you that you have of the world. There is only one screen. You have the remote control and you are the screen. You see the external world from behind the screen, believing it is the world outside you, and the world outside you sees it from outside inwards, believing it is you. It is the same screen of information, and you, my friend, hold the remote control. You hold the power to create the character that you experience and play in this game of life in whichever way you choose. Yes, you have past experiences, but you are not your past experiences. You are only defied by your own limitations or attachment or view of limitation. You are infinite in potential in all ways. And I look forward to next week's episode and sharing more truths about this with you and how to align with your truest and greatest self in all ways. Now and forever, surfing the waves of existence together. United we stand, and together we rise. Thank you. And until next week, I love each and every one of you as I love myself. And I'm only able to now say that I love myself through having fully accepted myself, all of those parts, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Thank you, thank you, thank you for who you are and all you do. Please comment, let me know where you are, let me know any topics of conversation to cover for the show in a couple of weeks, and we will incorporate that. I'll create a list of topics to go forward with. Next week will be the game of life, and we'll incorporate more mindfulness techniques. Head over to YouTube, to Cosmic Surfer and Mainstream Meditation, as well as heading over to the website greatestversion.club and utilizing the free courses there. And then only as and when you feel worthy of doing so, invest the time and energy required to take one of the more in-depth and expansive courses. The 5 steps to freedom and personal empowerment one being like nothing ever created before. With that first step being acknowledgement. Acknowledgement that there is something blocking your path, then acceptance that is there to bring about a way of discovering an alternative route, a way to go over, under, around, through. There is nothing blocking your path that you do not have the capability to overcome. Reach out to me on any of the socials, and I look forward to connecting with you all on a deeper level again very soon. Love and light. Namaste.